What is up, everybody, and welcome to Wrestling with Rumors. All right, so let's dive in. So on this show, which was formerly called Anthony KT Wrestling, I changed the name to Wrestling with Rumors because I had a segment on Anthony KT Wrestling called Wrestling with Rumors, where I would read rumors that were going around for the week, and I love doing that part. And I figured that I just changed the name of the show to Wrestling with Rumors, where I could go talk, read a little bit more about the rumors that are going around for the week, and then maybe hit up on a few things that I've been thinking about when it comes to the world of wrestling. So let's go ahead and just dive in with the rumors. Now, remember, and I'm gonna make this clear every week that I do this show. That each rumor that I'm about to read to you is not official. They're all rumors, and even in the world of professional wrestling, in WWE, anything can happen. Never say never. And as the great broadcaster of Sam Roberts and his rules that we all pay attention to and that we all listen to, speculate wildly, and of course, always watch the product. So let's go ahead and let me read these. Let me go ahead and speculate wildly with these rumors for the week. All right. So starting up with plans for John Cena to face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41 are not intact in stone, per Wrestling Observer Radio's Dave Meltzer, but talk of Cena going for a world title at WrestleMania is very legit. Moving on to the next report, regarding reports of a CM Punk Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania, Meltzer said, the idea of Punk and Roman Reigns is certainly a thing that's been going around in the past week, and I think there's something to it. Now, this could be, again, we speculate wildly about what this favor could be. We have an idea that the favor that Paul Heyman owes to CM Punk has to do with WrestleMania, has to do with CM Punk getting that WrestleMania main event match. This could be it. This could be a CM Punk versus Roman Reigns main event match, either night 1 or night 2, probably night 1. Who knows? And as far as Cena going for the world title, of course, his final run starts this Monday on Monday Night Raw when Monday Night Raw excuse me, when Monday Night Raw debuts on Netflix. So for his last run, of course he's going for a world title run. He could be going for multiple titles. He could be hitting that Intercontinental title. He could be going for the WWE title, the World Heavyweight title. He could be going for one more round with the United States title. We do not know. But John Cena at WrestleMania 41 for a world title, be it Cody Rhodes or Gunther, who are currently our champions, are very possible, and I would be excited to see. Okay, so according to Dr. Featherstone, WWE sources, a theme that will go into the Netflix era will be to generate stories that come off more authentic and not scripted. Featherstone says this has WWE talent really focused on getting a feel for the crowd and going with their gut with what's given by the creative team. This is something that's we've kind of already seen go into effect between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. So for something like this to keep going with other stories, with other men and women on rosters of Raw and SmackDown and even NXT, makes for more sitting on the edge of your seat type stories, and makes for really good matches too. So I love that. WrestleVotes notes that Randy Orton is expected back on WWE television, if not at the Royal Rumble, then sometime before it. If I could see now for this, I feel like when Orton returns, I feel like it probably will happen at the Royal Rumble, and it will probably happen during the ladder match between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Now, as far as how this will look, right now it feels like when Randy Orton returns, he's going to keep Kevin Owens from winning the WWE Championship. But things could turn, and it could be something else. But it does feel like more like when Randy Orton returns, he'll go after Kevin Owens and keep Kevin Owens from winning the world title match, and ensure that Cody Rhodes climbs the ladder and grabs the title. So I don't think we'll see Randy Orton before Royal Rumble. I think we'll see him at the Royal Rumble. All right. John Cena is currently betting favorite to win the Royal Rumble per Sky Bet. Now, I will, as we all know, this is a rumor, but to go for the other rumor that I read, the first one about John Cena facing Cody Rhodes at 41, or just in general, John Cena getting a world title match at WrestleMania 41. John Cena winning this saying John Cena winning the Royal Rumble, it matches into that. It really connects the dot. John Cena wins this year's Royal Rumble, and goes right into and has this main event match at WrestleMania 41. Definitely see that. Definitely could see that for happening. But as far as how that works for him when it comes to Elimination Chamber, I don't know, because he's going to be, as I believe it, as we all believe it, that he's going to be at every single PLE. So, how that works for him in the Elimination Chamber, it could be that he has to put his main event match for WrestleMania inside the Elimination Chamber, but that doesn't really make sense, because usually the Elimination Chamber is like a last chance match to get to WrestleMania, to get a match at WrestleMania for a world title, or usually the title or a certain title is on the line. So, moving on. Fightful says Gabe Kidd's deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling will expire soon. New Japan Pro Wrestling does want to retain his services. Now, here's a question that has been going around about Gabe Kidd's deal. Do you think, and I'm going to ask you all this, and go ahead and leave what you think in the comments. Do you think Gabe Kidd should stay in New Japan Pro Wrestling, or do you think he should venture and check out other promotions, such as TNA, such as AEW, such as WWE and NXT? What do you think? I think what Gabe has done for New Japan Pro Wrestling has been great, and he's had some unforgettable matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I feel that it's always good to dip a toe in other promotions, but really it comes down to what he wants to do. We can all say what we think he should do, but at the end of the day, it's his decisions. It's up to him what he wants to do. And as fans of Gabe Kids, we will support that decision no matter what. All right, so they also say AJ Francis' new deal with TNA goes through 2025, but not into 2026. So, AJ Francis' new deal with TNA, he's moving up the ranks, and I feel like December of this year, 2025, I don't know, he could, after, I say in 2026, he goes to AEW. I think in 2026 he might end up in AEW. We never know. But I feel like AEW would be his next stop in 2026 after his contract, after this new deal he has with TNA is up at the end of 2025. Wrestling Observer Radio's Dave Meltzer says AEW is receiving $3.6 million per week on its new media rights deal. So there is expected to be a lot more aspects of spending money now that these checks are starting to come in. That could be related to why the company brought back Elton John's music for Collision and changed Dynamite's theme song to I'm So Excited. Now, this one, thank you. This one, again, I feel, and it just might be me on this one, but this one I feel like proves my point. And what I've said a few episodes back when it was called, when Wrestling with Rumors was called Anthony KT Wrestling, when I talked about AEW and the one disappointing thing about AEW's deal with Warner Brothers, and this is it. Here it is. So now that they're getting if this rumor is true and they're getting $3.6 million per week, again, why can't if you have Max, let their pay-per-views be free for Max subscribers instead of paying the whatever discounted price is. If you're getting $3.6 million per week with each episode of both Dynamite and Collision, you can afford, at least I feel, you can afford to allow people who are Max subscribers to get the pay-per-views such as Revolution, which is their first pay-per-view of the year in March, to be free for Max subscribers. That is how I feel. I'm sure I'm not alone in how I feel about that, but that is how I feel about that. It's cool that they're getting this money is coming in for for both Dynamite and for both Collision for the shows. And what we've seen this first week of how the simulcast streaming is working, it works simultaneously. It's beautiful. It's great to have It's great just to turn on the app on Max, especially if you live in the West Coast, because on the West Coast we would have to wait until 8 o'clock. But with Max, we don't have to wait till 8 o'clock. We can watch it at 5 o'clock, which is 8 o'clock East Coast time. So I love that. If only the pay-per-views were free for Max subscribers instead of having to charge an additional price for whatever a Max subscriber is paying a month for Max, adding to that with whatever the discounted price of the pay-per-view is going to be. That is just my thinking. That is just how I feel about that. And I feel like when you're comparing how WWE does it with Peacock versus how AEW is now doing this with Max, WWE is doing better, is the winner in that, because as long as you are a Peacock subscriber, all their pay-per-views are free. And I feel like AEW should do that same thing. But I don't think they will. So, moving on. And lastly, and finally, reports going around that in 2026, Saudi Arabia will host the Royal Rumble. No surprise. If we all remember, one of the PLEs or pay-per-views that WWE did in the last couple of years was called the Greatest Royal Rumble. And they did that in Saudi Arabia. That was also the classic meme of Titus O'Neil and how he tripped and went in under the ring. Nonetheless, they did the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. That was the only one they ever did. So it tracks that it would eventually that they would do a Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. They already have Crown Jewel. They've done several other PLEs in Saudi Arabia, like Elimination Chamber was done in Saudi Arabia. So it only is only a matter of time before one of the big four PLEs would be done in Saudi Arabia, and there's the Royal Rumble. Eventually they'll do a Survivor Series over there. Eventually they'll do a SummerSlam over there, and eventually they'll do a WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. It's going to happen. You know, they have that big, oh god, that WWE experience, which they need to build a WWE experience here in America. You know, because obviously all of us would go to that if it was here in America too. So eventually, the big four is going to happen over in Saudi Arabia. That'll do it. And now moving on to what I want to bring up. I want to bring up a couple of things I want to bring up. First, I just want to bring up Mercedes Moné. Her start in AEW. We're coming up to Mercedes Moné being in AEW for like a year now, for about a year. I think March will mark her being in AEW for a year. And in that year, her debut wasn't the best start. She didn't really get up and running like I feel like she should have, but she was injured. I feel like, and a lot of people has brought this up over the last couple of months, over the last couple of weeks, and I feel the same way with a lot of people. When Mercedes Moné should have made her debut when she was fully able to have a match. Like, she debuted in March, but she wasn't actually able to have a match until I think it was All In. If I'm correct, All In was her first match, and that is a huge gap of time to go by before you have your first match. It had been I think it was sooner. You know what? I believe it was sooner than that. But anyway, the fact that she couldn't just hit the ground running because she was still hurt, I feel like that's on Tony Khan and on AEW in general. They should have waited until Mercedes Moné was completely cleared to wrestle. That way, she could have debuted like that big business thing that they did in Boston last year. She could have made her debut that week, right? And then the following week, she could have had her first match and then hit the ground running. With Britt Baker. I think that would have been the way to do that. It's been a slow start, and she's still cooking. But she's doing her thing, you know, and honestly, we compare Mercedes Moné to who she was in WWE as Sasha Banks. And when you compare the two, she's had a better career in WWE as Sasha Banks than she has as Mercedes Moné. But her as Mercedes Moné is just getting started, and I feel like it took a lot of guts, and it was very brave of her to just walk out of WWE the way that she did because of her reasons of the women not getting the women tag team championship not getting the recognition that it rightfully deserved at that time when her and Naomi both walked out. They both went and did their own things, and Naomi killed it in TNA, and then she came back last year at the Royal Rumble, and has been doing great since, and it's been teaming up with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill since she had shown up, and that has been great to see, and it's great to see Naomi back in WWE. When Sasha Banks left, Mercedes Moné left, she did her own. She had dreams of wrestling in Japan. That's what she did, and she kept going, and now she's still wrestling in Japan. She's got a match in Japan later tonight against Mina. But what she's also doing at AEW has been up and down a little bit, and I still hold on to having those great moments. They're not there yet. You know, she's the TBS women's champion, and she should be going after the AEW women's championship, and she hasn't yet. She still has the TBS Women's Championship, but I believe in the next couple of years that she has left on her contract, she will get there. And I feel like a lot more greater matches are coming for Mercedes Moné in AEW in the near future. I think we just have to be patient and allow her to continue the cook. It's almost been a year. Let's see how she does. Let's see what she does in year 2. I will say about that. And SmackDown, right? The debut, a new era in WWE with SmackDown being 3 hours. We were watching, and I'm gonna strictly focus on the last 10 minutes of that second hour of SmackDown when we were watching the WWE Women's Championship match, Nia Jax versus Naomi. In that match, they took a commercial break, right? And then when they came back, it was for us here in the East Coast, it was 6:57. Okay? And they come back from the commercial break, and then they get back to the match, and it hits 7 o'clock, and we're like, oh, they're going. And at first you forget. It's easy to forget because you're so used to SmackDown being a 2-hour show. But when it hits that 7 o'clock mark, and it's like they're just going over for a little bit this one time because of the championship match. But then you realize that SmackDown's a 3-hour show, and then you realize that this match has been given a lot more time because of that. There were a lot of the matches that took place, and a lot of the segments that took place, they all had extra time. They all had a little bit more time because SmackDown's a 3-hour show. So for us to have that was incredible. And to kick it off with a big bang, when Tiffany Stratton played this geniusly. First, she comes rushing down, right? And you think she's gonna cash in, right? And then it looks like she's gonna hand the briefcase to the referee, but she doesn't. She pushes the referee, right? She rushes back to the ring, and then she makes sure Nia Jax pins Naomi to retain her championship. And there's a big and everybody's happy, and everything is good, and we're like, she got us again. But but then she hits. This is when it gets good. Then she hits Nia Jax with the briefcase, and then Bianca Belair with the KOD. Down goes Nia Jax, and then Tiffany Stratton throws Bianca Belair out of the ring. She gets out of the ring herself, hands the briefcase to the referee. Then Tiffany Stratton with the prettiest moonsault and wins the WWE Women's Championship. All I can say is it's about time. Finally, and it's Tiffy time. Right? It's Tiffy time. Now what happens next week begins the road to Royal Rumble in a rematch championship match between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, and this is gonna be a fun ride. This has been Wrestling with Rumors. I know there's always so much to talk about in the world of professional wrestling when it comes to WWE, when it comes to AEW, when it comes to any wrestling promotion you like. There's so much to talk about, but I'm Anthony KT. This has been Wrestling with Rumors, and I will see y'all on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Peace.